I'm going to start.
Yeah.
So, yes, did my cognitive behavioral therapy. I think that, like most people, I was nervous at the beginning, but I also, in the most unarrogant way, did feel a bit confident because I've been able to read over what helps. I think learning from previous placement and my so as a history is that you deal with a lot of clients whose families particularly get overwhelmed by circumstances, so engaging with them in ways to breathe and also taking part in truth and fact about the client itself and the families there to take part in answering those questions helps them. So using that skill then in this interview was really helpful. I think that what I found most challenging was, other than kind of knowing time was running out and I still wanted to achieve more, I knew the client was feeling overwhelmed at the time. So working with that and doing breathing exercises was really important. And then to see that shift in the client's behavior and use of language and her breathing during the interview makes it more helpful and helps her get grounded, so then I'm able to work with that effectively. But initially, hearing that they're not able to breathe is a little nerve-wracking, especially at the beginning of an interview, but I think I went well with that. What did I learn? I learned from this interview how to build a client's capacity to cope and deal with certain truths and certain negatives that they're feeling, and how to help adjust their thought processes. I think in the long term, being able to build the client's skills and their capacity is really important. Particularly in placement, and doing that with Angela was a key thing because she's obviously been real overwhelmed, and I sort of knew that going into it, but being able to think ahead and think of an activity that'll help her work through any feelings of overwhelmed was good. I think as a whole, using this therapy, I was able to embody the basic parts of this therapy, so scaling questions, homework, mood checking, and activity. One thing though that I would have changed, and I wish I'd worked more on, was getting a deeper understanding of the client's week. When I did my mood check and asked about her positives and negatives, I listened to her list out the positives and the negatives, and I could have given more positive reinforcement for when she's noticed good things about the week, and then I could have gone in deeper when she's discussing kind of the negatives for the week. But I jumped from hearing those mood check things to then going into how do you feel right now. So I think getting more detail into that is really important. I think my use of language was quite good. I definitely could have just asked a few more open questions and not been so closed off about certain questions. I don't know, that's kind of all I've got right now. Just looking back, sorry, am I able to look back okay? I think if the session was to finish on time, I would have probably provided just a bit more positive reinforcement. I would have discussed further that I'm going to send you through the breathing exercises, and so I didn't get a chance to do that, which is what I would have done if the session had finished on time. I think relating to the client, I don't personally relate to the client's situation, but reading through a scenario, I'm able to empathize more with her because she does have a lot that she's dealing with and going through. It almost sounds like she's a single mum, but she isn't, just because of previous history and sessions where she's expressed that she's taking on the majority of the parenting role. So I automatically empathize with her and I want to help her. But there wasn't anything necessarily unexpected that came up. I just wish I had asked more deeper questions so that I could have got a bit further into the content. But majority of what was said in this session I was expecting, and I didn't really have to change or drift from what I had planned, which I think was quite useful.
Time. It's like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay, done.